you know that I love Akira. To the point that some may even consider it an obsession. Some might even say that it is the only part of my personality, but still, you may be wondering why. A first glimpse at the poster and the recurring images of their man on the poster led me to believe that this just might be some anime about cool bikes, tech, and cool delinquents. Boy, was I mistaken. This masterpiece of a movie had my expectations up my ass. The emotions that I felt after I was done with the movie were intrigue and fascination for what I had just experienced. So let me show you why. Akira opens up with one of the best opening scenes of all time. I believe a great opening scene should get you hooked, and the biker fight scene doesn't fail to do so. It is our introduction to the protagonist, Kaneda, and the soon-to-be antagonist, Tetsuo. The relationship that they share is quite complex. We are given a hint that Tetsuo envies Kaneda in this scene. After what ensues in the cool bike scene, where Kaneda and his gang defeat the rival gang, the incident occurs that sets in motion the events of the movies that are most integral to the film. Tetsuo has a peculiar near collision with one of the psychic kids. The military comes over and takes Tetsuo away. Several tests are being conducted on him, and the doctor says to the colonel that he is observing a strong psychic pattern that he had never seen before. He believes that his psychic ability might be as strong as Akira. The titular character is one of the espers from the experiment. He is the one who caused the massive explosion and is hidden underground in a military facility simply marked as number 28. Tetsuo slowly starts developing several psychic abilities and experiences graphic hallucinations which are outright creepy. Meanwhile, Kaneda is caught chasing for Kei, who is part of a resistance group against the whole military experimentation. Due to this, Kaneda finds himself embroiled in a secret mission to invade the government facility that has been holding Tetsuo. After meeting Tetsuo, he discovers that the power has gotten into his head and has corrupted his mind. Tetsuo goes into a full rampage mode, seeking the mysterious entity called Akira. We are given the demonstration of his destructive powers, where he destroys the tanks with his psychic abilities in pursuit of Akira. He's drunk with power and is testing his limits like a mad tyrant. The vibe of Akira, or should I say Neo Tokyo, is an impeccable masterclass on cyberpunk world designs. The cyberpunk theme complements the movie so well. The whole cyberpunk dystopia is characterized by the development in technology and the moral downfall of human beings, where technology or power is slowly taking over the lives of the people. Out there with the likes of Blade Runner, Brave New World, and George Orwell's revolutionary 1984. The moral downfall and the technical advancements have been portrayed perfectly. We can see all around us the depravity of human beings everywhere. Akira was my first introduction to the cyberpunk world, and I have been hooked on it since. The shots of the movie are amazing, giving us the feeling of moral depravity and the feeling of being small every single time. The shots are very suffocating. One of the scenes that gave me the shivers is the scene where Tetsuo flies off the skyscraper and is falling. I do not have the fear of heights and do not dread falling. However, this scene got me scared off my socks. The multiple things happening at the same time, the level of detail that is delivered is unprecedented, and the amount of movement that goes on it is a feast to the eyes. The vibes are a major part of the movie in my opinion. One can simply love Akira for the vibe it brings, irrespective of the themes of the movie. Every great anime has a distinct art style that separates itself from the rest. Stuff like JoJo, One Piece, and Dragon Ball all have distinct art styles which one can recognize from far away. The most common thing in anime is the highly stylized characters. Otomo's art separates itself through the characters' simplified and rather realistic facial features. and the proportions, which are pretty accurate. This is what I love about the art style: the detailed machines, and more emphasis laid on the objects and the surroundings rather than the characters themselves. The seamless lucidity of the art style makes us feel gore to our cores. Every drop of blood that was shed, every limb broken, all the guts spilled, and all the graphic violence is felt up our spines. The shots of the limbs coming out, the punches delivered, are visceral and can be felt. The art style breaks away from the back and expresses gore so eloquently. It feels as if this art style was built for the gore. Kaneda himself is not the usual protag. I don't even believe that he is the sole protagonist of the movie. Kaneda is an absolute goofball, just like any other shonen characters. Would do anything for his friend, goes into battle recklessly, and all the other boxes for the shonen stereotypical lead. Even though those shonen characters aren't my favorite, however, Kaneda doesn't feel the same. He feels cooler. I can't put a finger on it accurately, but I believe this is just because of how cool his design is. Kaneda screams delinquency, the cool bike, the all red clothes, and all of the cool shit he does. Some of the lines he delivers are golden. One of the reasons he stands out is that he's nowhere near the movie's theme, and it feels as if Kaneda is just in the movie for the fun of it, and how cool is that? He doesn't feel replaceable, you can't replace this man, but he feels pointless to the plot at the same time. I do not know what this is, it's pretty fucking weird. Under all the neon lights, the futuristic imagery, horrific body horror, and the cool bikes of Neo Tokyo is a philosophical dilemma as close as the air we breathe. Underneath this mechanical masterpiece, which appears so further away from us, in actuality has a theme closer to us than ever. At the center of the movie is the antagonist, Tetsuo. Tetsuo is a troubled kid. He has been envious of Kaneda all his life. Undoubtedly, he feels isolated, an orphan and an outcast even in the orphanage. We are shown several sentimental flashbacks of Tetsuo's memories. We are bound to feel pity for him. He has dreams and also has a companion in Kaori with whom he wants to run away from the city and all the turmoil. In the scene where Tetsuo and Kaori try running away with Kaneda's bike when he is standing up for himself, however, their plans are again stopped, and his girlfriend is assaulted in front of his eyes, and the final nail to the coffin, he is again bailed out by the man he resents and the one who has been the constant reminder that he is not enough. He is a tragic character, caught up in the mess he was never destined to be a part of. He has been through a lot of stuff, but at the same time, this does not justify his actions. Now, the question that Akira asks is, what would power be in the hands of the wrong person? This is outright talked about in the prison scene with Kaneda and Kei. The power to destroy the whole world is terrifying. We are scared of power and how intoxicating it can be. Just a look into modern politics, it's all about power. What drives us to be stronger is the fear of lacking behind and not having enough power to fight back. Just imagine the utter chaos and fear that would ensue in the world if just one of the nations got the power to destroy the world. How do you keep a check on unlimited power? An integral part of democracy is the point that people in power are in check. What happens if the powers aren't in check? The religious movements by the leaders looking for Akira also sends the message home. We see the religious leaders worshipping Tetsuo as the Messiah. So the question being, what if the next Jesus Christ was a man insecure child drunk with power? Akira is a projection of Katsuhiro Otomo's dark view of the future from what he saw in the 1970s. The Cold War, university riots, and the political turmoil of the past, and a form of anxiety the world had felt during the times of war and struggle. All great pieces of fiction, no matter how far-fetched and fantastical it may be, the themes are always simple and as human as ever. The great destruction that transpires in the anime is a scene to behold when it is one of its major underlying themes. Akira delivers the point that destruction is an essential part of creation. Akira has destruction everywhere from the beginning to the end. It starts with a boom and ends with a boom. The first catastrophe leads to the birth of Neo Tokyo, and the next boom leads to the conception of a new universe. This theme ties in well with the history of Japan dealing with destruction and coming back from it, creating something better out of the rubble and the mess left behind. I find this message undeniably endearing with the background history of Japan. At the end of it all, we see Tetsu begging for help when his powers are out of control. He goes to the man who has given him a hand all the time, Kaneda. In the final scene, I feel nothing but pity for Tetsuo. However, despite how grim the ending might feel, it ends on a good note stating that the final explosion led to the conception of a new universe. Akira has been in the spotlight of pop culture for a long time. Akira was made in the golden age of anime in the 80s. It was a time when anime did not have any constraints, it was not supposed to stick to the stereotypes because the stereotypes were not laid. Akira was a culmination and magnum opus of that period. If I had to talk about the number of things I have seen, the references thrown around, we'd be here for hours. Every time I see the iconic bike slide, which has been recreated so many countless times, paying homage to Akira, I cannot help but appreciate this movie more. And that is why I love Akira so much.